Riddle me this.
When you don't have much money, but your grandpa says, "Sonny, what should you do? Buy new or buy used?" This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott.
Here I am in Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
As I stated in my intro video to this channel that I've started here, what I wanted to do is share a bit of my experience with dealing with budget photography. Also, as I've stated in the past too, I'm Dr. Scott McDonald. I'm a lecturer at a local international university here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I've been here since 2011 and got into photography as a hobby. I'm a bit of a artist buff on the side, doing painting and drawing and
I want to paint.
theater and so forth and so on. So I just considered photography as another extension of your artistic creativity. So one of the things that led me to this point, of course, of creating this channel was the fact that I had to do all this within a budget because I was using my money for other things such as investing into real estate and whatnot. So photography again became a hobby, but I had to do it within reason. So what led me to this point was thinking, well, obviously I would like to have the best of all equipment, just like every photographer would. But with that said, you're limited to the amount of money you had. Now, if you're a rich guy and you go out there and you can spend $3,000, $4,000 on all the best of everything, good for you. But most of us aren't in that situation, so we're stuck within the limitations of our paychecks. And so what led me to creating this video was thinking, how can I get good quality for as low or a low amount of money as possible. And what started me off on this was this little baby here. This is the Canon M50. I originally went into the camera store, did some research online to figure out, within budget, what could I get myself that's going to take care of video and stills photography. And I was looking at the Rebel, the Canon Rebel, as one. But when I went into the store, there was a gentleman in there who was purchasing something else, and he overheard me saying that I wanted a Rebel for this purpose and that purpose. And at the time, he was actually purchasing one of these too, an M50. And he explained to me that it's got 4K video, and he was doing a little sales pitch on why I should get this over the Rebel.
Because if we got a deal for you.
And I talked about price. I said, well, I'm not looking for something, top of the line because of that. And when he had stated that they're roughly about the same price, but this, gave a little better feature than the Rebel, I said, well, that's great, but and I asked the guy, do you have any used ones of these? And he did. And so these were roughly going for US dollars, probably about between $550 to $600 anyway for this. But he had a used one that somebody had turned in, which is this baby here. And so I got it for $400. And to me, why not? I buy my cars used, my houses used, a number of things. We go through life. We don't need brand new anything as long as it's been taken care of. And this M50 is no exception. And, of course, I would have, it's white, as you can see. I would have preferred a black one, kind of like these, but what do I really care? Color is a color. It's not a fashion statement or anything. So I got the white one, and I paid $400 for it, and it's been working great for me. I use it for video more so than stills photography, but I have taken it with me on vacation and whatnot. And as you can see here, it has a cage or L bracket or whatever you want to call it, to give it a little more beef. And as you can hear that clicking, there's the clasps here for my neck strap. But again, because it's a small camera, I just felt with this bracket on that it actually gave it a little more oomph, or a little more better feeling in the hand anyway. So I've used it for stills photography, and of course it's got the kit lens on it here, the 15 to 45 kit lens that comes with it, and is decent enough for for video use at home or whatnot. I actually use it at 15 millimeter. I never go any longer with that.
That's what she said.
But it's it's image stabilized and whatnot, and it again, for camera or for video purposes, it does a good job. There's a lot of YouTube folks out there who also use the M50. Sean Cannell in Think Media.
On here with Think Media.
Uses it, and he's got quite a few videos on the M50 talking about its benefits and whatnot. So I suggest you check out his channel. There's a lot of good educational videos that Sean puts out there. So anyway, so that's the M50. That was my first foray into actual cameras that were not just point and shoot, or not my iPhone. Prior to that, that was my, this was my camera, my iPhone 7. It's nothing wrong with using iPhones or Android phones for doing photography, but really, if you're getting into it as a hobby or as maybe a future career, having an actual camera body with interchangeable lenses is the way to go. My next venture off into that, after I'd say a year or so of shooting with APS-C censored cameras, I was using the Canon native lenses. I had besides the 15-45, I also have the 22 millimeter, which is a great little lens, by the way. I also have the macro 28 millimeter, which is very nice. And we'll get into individual lenses later on in another video, but just to give you an idea of that, I would really love to get the 11 to 22 native lens, as well as the 32 millimeter are kind of future targets for this particular body. But I also discovered vintage lenses, and that's what I'll put out a few videos about vintage lenses as well. But I started putting vintage lenses on this camera, and it just broadened the capabilities of what I could do. But as with anybody who's dabbled into APS-C and used it for a while, they've always, if you're like me, you watch a lot of YouTube videos and read a lot of articles online, and photographers go on and on about full frame. So I said, okay, fine, I need to get up to the full frame. And we end up with what they call GAS, which is your gear acquisition syndrome. Which means more and more, I need to have more. And that's the way I got with my vintage lenses. I ended up, as you can see here, 50 some odd lenses. But they're all great lenses, though. I did my homework well with each one of them, and each one was a purchase I do not regret. But I needed, as what I thought in my mind anyway, I needed a full frame camera, so I went in bidded, is that a proper English phrase, on eBay. I ended up getting a Sony A7, which is a full frame camera. But again, you buy one of these brand new, and you're looking up past $1,000. And I bid on this one from a gentleman in Canada, putting it up for sale, and ended up getting it for $300. And again, it's a full frame camera. It's a name brand, Sony, the Sony A7. It's a great little camera. And same thing, you know, everything we do to be able to get the best use out of these, and using vintage lenses or, you know, third-party lenses or anything else, is through the use of adapters. And as you can see here, I have a Minolta 85 millimeter f2 lens on it. It's a, you know, vintage lens, but I have an adapter, MD to NEX adapter on here, so I can use it on this body. So here I've got a full frame camera that I spent $300 on, as opposed to getting one brand new. $400 on this one. This was a newer model. You know, the A7's already been out many years already, so it's almost an antique in the world of digital cameras. But there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it works just fine. So so that's really the gist of this video, is trying to share with you that yes, the goal may be to get the best of what you can, but really it doesn't have to be brand new. As long as the person who had owned it before you took good care of it. And, you know, ideally you can go to a camera store like this one and, you know, test it out, make sure it's great. And to be honest with you too, you know, I did go a little beyond my A7 here, and actually what we're filming on this video right now is a A7R2. But same thing, I didn't buy a brand new. I went to the camera store here in Ho Chi Minh City, and I purchased it for $1,000.
What you talking about, Dad?
Now, if you go out on the market and buy a brand new A7R2, why not save some money and get a used one? And the same thing, I went to the camera store, I picked up that A7R2, turned it on, played with it, threw some lenses on there, took some test photos, you know, ran it through the paces, checked out the video, make sure everything worked fine. And of course, it's got because it's a camera store, you know, it has a warranty anyway. It's 90 days or so, I think, but 3 months worth of warranty, that's fine. I tend to take care of my equipment anyway, so I suspect that that these will last me quite a long time. But that's the whole purpose of my channel, is Modesty Photography, doing this on a budget. And so today's video is just talking about camera bodies and how you can, you know, operate as best as you can with the money that you have. But you don't have to do this with a brand new system. Nothing wrong with used. So with that said, that's pretty much what this first video I have here is really doing for you, is to just introduce the idea of going used instead of brand new. And as I said, for those out there who've got the money, why not buy brand new? You know, if that's expendable money, and you don't mind, you know, putting out, you know, $3,000 or even $4,000 for a camera. So to wrap this up, used, nothing wrong with used. Go with it. They work just fine. And you know, I'd like to really thank you for dropping by. Thank you for listening to me. You know, today, you know, these are not actual reviews of the cameras themselves. This is all about just saving money. So if you want to know more about the bodies, please, you know, check around. There's plenty of information out there on these cameras. And you know, I encourage you to do your homework. Just, you know, as a teacher, you know, I tell my students that all the time. Don't just take the first word anybody tells you on anything. Do your research, do your homework, and it'll pay off. You'll find that you'll get the best of all worlds in that regard. So thank you for watching. You know, hit that like button, or smash it, as Peter McGinnon would say.
Hit the like button if you like this video. Smash it.
You know, subscribe if you want to hear more. You know, I'm an educator. I want to share my experiences, and there were a number of my students who, you know, after speaking with me about photography, suggested I put out a YouTube channel for others to learn from. So With that said, you have a great day, have a great weekend, and in this time of COVID-19, stay safe, wash those hands, don't touch your face, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, take care.
Here I am in Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.